This is a demonstration of a library that I created that extends the React Context Protocol through the use of the JavaScript proxy. So here's the main implementation here. Um, there are two separate uh, functions to both create a context and then create a provider for that context. Um, the reason is that uh, if I go into here, um, creating the provider, uh, first of all, establishes this um, type here, and second of all, um, adds the name, and these are the specific props that this component should re-render on that uses a different part of the library here. But basically, what this does is it allows partial dependency on specific props, and then also the dependency is triggered on mutation. As you can see here, all of these mutate except for this one. That one fully reinitializes because you can actually turn the reinitialization on or off. Let me just demonstrate this. So here is the basic web page. I will refresh it here. So we should have a clean console now. As you can see here, we just need to wait for everything to load up again. My computer isn't really working that well right now. Okay, here we go. So right now it's listening to them all as shown by these checkboxes. So if I increment A, both the app and the consumer respond with the consumer render here. And if I increment B, same thing happens. Increment C, same thing happens again. And then if I increment the first element of the array, that happens also. However, if I say uncheck the listen to A there, um, one extra render happened just so that it could reinitialize um, the hook because it needs to do that. But now, if I increment A, only the app responds, not the consumer. Decrementing A, same thing. And then if I do the same with B, still the consumer responds like normal. Now, I will check that again and then uncheck this so that now if I fully reinitialize um, the uh, actual listener is called, but as you can see, it did not render at all. And if I uncheck all of these, and then I just do a bunch of random stuff, you can see it does not, the consumer does not respond at all. Only the app is responding here. Now I'm going to go ahead and check these all again. And I just wanted to show something here. Here where we have the array for the key, this shows that it's listening to the R key here, but it's listening to specifically the first element, the element under the number 0. And so, see, it says listen to first element of R. If I increment or decrement the second element, it uh, does does not change at all. Though, um, as you can see here, the that key is actually reinitialized because it only works on one level here. It does not work on multiple levels. So you do have to reinitialize arrays and objects. Otherwise, you can just directly mutate. Now, here is the actual implementation of this. Just some types here. When you create the context, it just creates a regular React context and also checks if the proxy is defined or not, and then adds the name as well. Here, this is just a utility. This is what transforms the dependency array into an actual function equivalent of it so that it will only render if that specific property is changed versus the entire element itself. Here is the main logic where it creates a provider. Um, as you can see here, this just shows the all the subscribers, and that's a ref here. And then the actual context that is provided, as you can see, we provide it from the ref, and this prevents the regular React behavior of re-rendering every time the object changes, because now we don't change the object at all. We just mutate this context ref object that we have here. Now this just adds a subscriber, this removes a subscriber, and this is for when any new value is added. First, we just check to see if it wasn't the same value. Then we have the previous object here. We make sure that we just check for null to avoid exceptions on that point. And then we wrap the new object in a proxy where every time we bind functions to our current object that we have, and every time we set, we actually get the previous value of the prop and then kind of um, compare them here, where you can have just the regular string and then you can also have a full function here. And if any of these pass, then it calls the callback there. And it also calls the onChange callback. And then this here, that calls the reinitialize callback as well. So here's the actual hook that brings it into the React. It uses this force re-render hook, which is from another library that I have, but essentially it just creates a basic state where when you call this function, it increments that state so that the entire component will re-render when this function is called. Then it grabs the context, makes sure that it's not undefined, because undefined will mean that the context is actually not there. You can't have undefined as part of your actual valid context values. You should use null instead. So whenever you mount, you create the subscriber, and whenever you unmount, you just remove the subscriber. And it's wrapped within a hook result, which is just a way so that I can allow the hook result to be accessed as both an array and an object here. That's just for convenience. And that's how the entire thing works.